Pokemon anime rivals. There are so many of them, and they are some of the most crucial and coolest parts of Ash's journey. He had so many great rivals over the years, and there's a common trope in anime where we see rivals battle each other, and we didn't get too much of that in Pokemon. We got a few ones like Paul versus Barry, Gladion versus Kiawe, but I really want to dive into some of Ash's strongest rivals and see who would come out on top. So we're going to be doing this tournament bracket style. Let's say we have 8 fierce competitors who wish to challenge Ash again for his crown, and they have to battle it out to have that honour. I've picked out who I think Ash's strongest 8 rivals are. For starters, I have not included Kukui, as I saw him as a role model and father figure, not a rival, and I'm not including Leon. Regardless of if you consider him a rival or not, it would result in him winning the whole thing, so it's a bit pointless. So here are our 8 competitors: Gary Oak, Paul, Barry, Trip, Alain, Sawyer, Gladion and Kiawe. So we have blind randomly shuffled a bracket with matchups, and the results couldn't be better, with some incredible matchups here. I'm basing every match on a 3v3 battle and predicting who I think would come out on top, so let's get into it. The first matchup is a fun one. We have Gary Oak versus Barry, both characters that appeared in Diamond and Pearl, but they never actually met. They both have a really fun and quirky personality, but Gary is more calm and collected despite his confidence and sometimes cockiness. Gary would bring his trusty Umbreon, his Electivire and of course his ace Blastoise. These 3 are the soul of his team, while Barry would bring Heracross, Staraptor and his ace Empoleon. From matchups alone, I think Gary would have the advantage, especially bringing an electric type. Barry would charge in recklessly, would probably manage to take down 1 or 2 of Gary's Pokemon, but in the end would be a water starter clash. Blastoise would get the better of Empoleon and Gary would win. And then a mouth-watering clash with Paul, Ash's best rival, going up against Gladion, the rival that pushed Ash to win his first Pokemon League. Man, can you imagine getting a showdown between these 2 edgelords? Similar personalities, like to be left alone. Gladion opens up a lot more than Paul did, but the interactions would be hilarious. I feel like Paul would really get on with him and respect Gladion. Paul would bring Electivire, Torterra and Drapion, while Gladion would bring Lycanroc, Silvally and Zoroark. In terms of matchups, I don't think either have the clear advantage. This would be a battle of pure strength and who can hold on the longest. I think it would be pushed to the final clash between Paul's Electivire and Gladion's Silvally, and Paul would come out on top, with Drapion putting in a lot of tactical work throughout the battle, Paul's battle IQ coming out on top. On to the third matchup, we have Sawyer versus Kiawe, another great one here. 2 very determined characters, always looking ahead and following in Ash's shadow, wanting to grow and get that extra bit stronger. A battle of Mega Evolution versus Z moves. Sawyer would bring Mega Sceptile, Salamence and Aegislash, a hell of a lineup, and Kiawe would bring his only 3 Pokemon, Charizard, Turtonator and Marowak. Both of them out the gates go full on, with Sawyer Mega evolving his Sceptile, while Kiawe unleashes his Charizard's Z move Inferno Overdrive, and Kiawe actually takes down Sawyer's Mega Sceptile, showing just how strong Z moves can be. An early exit for Sceptile, but unfortunately for Kiawe, the rest of Sawyer's team is too stacked for him to overcome here. I think Salamence would come in and dominate, and though Aegislash might not be a great type matchup, Sawyer's team was just too much for Kiawe to handle. I think Sawyer would win this battle, but fair play to Kiawe. I think he would really show off Z moves and be able to take down Sawyer's Mega Sceptile. And the final matchup of the first round, rest in peace, we have Trip versus Alain, Ash's main rivals from Black and White and X and Y going at it. Trip would bring Serperior, Conkeldurr and Frillish, while Alain would bring Mega Charizard X, Metagross and Tyranitar, truly bringing a atomic bomb to a knife fight. Alain would sweep Trip without even losing a Pokemon, and he doesn't even need to Mega Evolve his Charizard. He wins without getting out of second gear. Also, he doesn't have to show off his hand to all of Ash's other rivals watching. Trip, sorry my guy, but you are out of here. So on to the semi-finals, and man, what a matchup we have here. Ash's first ever rival, the GOAT, Gary Oak, going up against Ash's best ever rival, the ruthless legend, Paul. This is a battle I would have wanted to see in the anime. seeing how they were both in the Diamond and Pearl series, we could have had this. Gary would bring Blastoise, Arcanine, and he would throw a curveball and bring his newly acquired Regidrago. He watched Paul and Ash's battle, he knows he needs to come prepared. Paul would bring his Torterra, Electivire, and his newly acquired Garchomp. This would be a battle of power, but mainly wits. Both of these trainers have a huge amount of battle IQ, with Gary studying to be a researcher and Paul being so diverse in his strategies, willing to adapt and learn, being offered the role of a gym leader, and learning from his defeat to Ash. It would be such a great clash. We would get a face-off of starter Pokemon between Gary's Blastoise and Paul's Torterra, both of them being their trusted partners from the beginning, and we would get a quick double knockout. Gary seems to be annoyed that he wasn't able to try out his new trick. Electivire and Arcanine would clash, and Electivire would pull through, just having the edge on battle experience. But then comes in the legendary Gary's last Pokemon, Regidrago, a beast in battle, a shocked stadium. Even Paul grins with excitement over facing this thing down. Electivire damages it slightly, but it's just a scratch. He then falls to the Regi. Paul brings out his final Pokemon, Garchomp, and to everyone's surprise, Paul has mastered Mega Evolution. He reveals Mega Garchomp. Gary annoyed that he didn't get to use his Mega Blastoise earlier, and it all starts to go wrong from here as he hasn't fully tamed this legendary, not yet battled with it. It stops listening and goes slightly out of control, and this is where Paul takes the advantage and wins the battle. Saving the Mega up his sleeve for last pays off for Paul, and Paul advances to the final. On to the next semi-final, we have a battle that actually could have happened in the XY series. We have Sawyer versus Alain, two very different but both strong trainers who have mastered Mega Evolution. A battle here of pure power versus intelligence and adaptability. Sawyer, knowing Alain's Pokemon, would bring Mega Sceptile, Salamence, and Slacking. Alain would bring Mega Charizard X, Bisharp, and Chestnut. A change of strategies for Alain, but his goal and mindset remain the same: win and overwhelm the opponent. Sawyer would lead with Slacking to try and get an early advantage, but Alain would send out his Bisharp. With its pace and slick battle style, it would dance around Slacking and overwhelm it, taking it down. Sceptile would come in and take down Bisharp, and then withdraw for Salamence. Alain would bring out his newest Pokemon, Chestnut, and Salamence would actually take it down, really putting Alain on the ropes to everyone's surprise. Alain feels at this point he probably should have brought Tyranitar or Metagross, while Sawyer feels like his plan is paying off. But he still has the beast that is Mega Charizard X to deal with. Alain stops playing around, brings out his Mega right away, and scorches through Salamence, and then we get a clash between Mega Sceptile and Mega Charizard X. Charizard having the clear advantage, and Sceptile already tired from its battle with Bisharp. Charizard wins. Alain was just too much for him to handle. Alain proceeds to the final where Paul awaits him. A final matchup between Paul, Ash's greatest ever rival, and Alain, Ash's strongest rival who Ash could never beat. Ash watches on giddy like a little kid in a sweet shop. He cannot wait for this battle. Paul brings Electivire, Torterra, and Gyarados. He feels he needs power here. Alain brings Mega Charizard X, Metagross, and Tyranitar. He's also going all out. Paul leads with his Torterra, his trusted partner, to start things off, while Alain leads with Metagross. Paul chips away at it but then sends in Electivire, and Metagross goes down to a brick break. Alain brings out Tyranitar, which makes quick work of Electivire. Paul feeling the pressure of Alain's team and how it just bears down on you. He starts to understand how Ash could lose to such power. Paul brings out Torterra again, one last push from it, giving everything he's got. He takes down Tyranitar with Torterra. He's took down the two pseudos, but he knows that the fiercest battle is yet to come. Charizard comes in blazing and absolutely destroys Torterra like it's nothing. Paul is down to his final Pokemon, and it's one he's not used to battling with. It's Gyarados, and he has a clear advantage here in their base forms, but he knows that's not going to last long. Both Pokemon Mega Evolve. Paul has acquired Mega Gyarados, and we get a Mega Showdown here. No clear advantage to either Pokemon, just a matter of power and experience, and although pushed to its limits once again, Mega Charizard X just has too much in the tank, too much endurance. Just like when it went up against Greninja, Charizard takes down another water type. Paul thought he was being clever having studied Alain's battles, but there's only so much you can prepare for when this beast of a Pokemon is involved. Alain wins the whole tournament, is crowned Ash's strongest rival, and is given the opportunity to battle him again. And maybe this time Ash can get his revenge. I'll let you decide.